What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Q, Quinte, or Quintessential. Whatever you know me as the host of BLK Talk. Guess what? We have an exciting show for you today, so sit back, tune in, and join the conversation.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to BLK Talk. I'm your host, Q, Quinte, or Quintessential, the host of BLK Talk. Today, of course, as always, is a very special episode. Today, I have one of my closest friends in the world, Mr. Eric K. Thomas, the founder, the visionary, the Black man advocate, the creator of the Quintessential Gentleman. Of course, y'all know the only other quintessential in the world that matters to me. Eric, welcome to BLK Talk. Finally.
We are finally here, but also, that was a real nice intro you had there, Fred. I'm kind of upset that I didn't see that. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. I love it. I love it. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good, but look, man, it's about you today and how good you're doing, how great you're doing in the community. This has been an amazing week for you. This has been an amazing year, amazing 6 years. So for the people who may be unfamiliar with Eric K. Thomas, of course, those will be people that are sleeping under a rock and don't know what's going on in the world of media. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. So, hello, everyone. I am the creator of the Quintessential Gentleman and really just someone that's trying to make a difference. So I'm just out here trying to shed some light on positive stories, the positive narratives of Black and brown men, and I created a platform to do so. So, I don't know. I'm gonna say that's all I got right now in terms of who I am.
So look, we're about to run that back, and what I want you to do, I want you to take trying up out of there, because for the last 6 years, you have created a platform, you created a movement, you created something that Black men, Black women, Black boys, Black girls can be proud of, and you've created something that people like myself are proud to be a part of. So I'm going to ask you again, Eric K. Thomas, who are you?
A man who has created a platform that sheds light and gives the kudos and the success and the flowers to all the Black and brown men who are doing great things in our community. Does that work? Is that good for you?
I mean, that works for now. The people get a gist of who you are.
Okay.
Of course, hopefully everybody has been paying attention to the Quintessential Gentleman, whether it be social media, whether it be a subscription to the website and all the releases that are going on. Now for you, this last couple weeks has been amazing. It's been, I'm sure, nerve-wracking. But tell us what's been going on the last couple weeks over at the Quintessential Gentleman.
Sure. So last week we released our latest culture issue, which is our second issue of the year. And we had radio personality, radio host, New York Times best-selling author, and late night talk show host Charlamagne the God on the
AKA
cover.
Leonard.
AKA Leonard. So we had him on the cover, and we published that last week. Then we went down to Miami for the American Black Film Festival, where we had our culture issue release party, and we had that at the Soho Beach House in partnership with Netflix, and it was also sponsored by Motion Pictures. It was an activation where we had civil rights attorney Ben Crump and Nadia Hallgreen speak with us, and Karen Sanchez moderated a conversation to talk about their new documentary Civil, which is streaming now on Netflix. But I always say, this is so important to have this culture issue. Charlamagne is one of the voices of our culture, and civil rights attorney Ben Crump is fighting for our culture. So that was such an amazing experience. And then we were also down at American Black Film Festival, where we were working and interviewing talent, enjoying that Miami sun, So we had that on Sunday, and then actually earlier today, I spoke at the Eagle Academy's graduation, their senior graduation ceremony, where I was a keynote speaker, which was just a phenomenal experience. My first time speaking at a graduation, and uh, it's been so interesting to see. It's so interesting to be a part of, to see as it's going. But it's also been a very, very busy 10 days for myself and everyone on the team, including yourself. So, but we made it through. We made it happen. So it was great.
Yes, yes. So let's go with the recent event. So for the first time in your life, you've had the opportunity to speak to kids. Now you've spoken to adults on panels and things of that nature, but now you've had the opportunity to reach back in like a each one teach one type of thing. Now, first of all, you look good. The outfit was everything. You always look good, but today, I don't know, you gave Uncle Eric is coming to speak to y'all and give you things. So how did that feel? Like, were you nervous? Were you excited? Like, when did you know, like, okay, this is it. I'm doing the right thing today.
Well, to the outfit piece, someone told me that I look like a young Steve Harvey. I don't know how I would feel because I'm like, is it the old Steve Harvey or is
I
it
was
the
about
new
to
Steve
say,
Harvey? So
is it
I
the
don't
Steve
know.
Harvey with the hair or is it the Steve Harvey with the ball?
Right, right. But either way, Steve Harvey is a GOAT. So I'm gonna take it. So today I was definitely nervous. I'm actually nervous whenever I speak in front of people. I'm nervous whenever I speak to celebrities. I would say I would be nervous right now, even being interviewed. God bless you. But because you're my friend and we just having a conversation, it's a little different. So I definitely don't have the nerves that I normally would have. But I was definitely nervous, but I was also honored to be chosen or selected as their commencement speaker. And to me, it was like, wow, so you all think that much of me, or think that I can give these kids something that will empower them as they make this new journey into their next phase in life. So I was completely honored. The team over at the Eagle Academy for Young Men of Staten Island are amazing. The principal, Mr. Kuntz, who we built a real relationship with, and Miss Kemp as well. But it was an amazing experience, and I'm still taking it in. I think tomorrow I'll have a better grasp of it. I think adrenaline is still rushing. It's still going in, but it was definitely an amazing experience.
So I'm sure you had the opportunity to speak to some of the kids one on one. Now, is there anything that you heard today from any one of the students? It's a boys' academy, right?
Boys Academy, yep.
So, is there anything that you heard from any of the young men that were there today that you will never forget?
I will. Yeah, so it's interesting because I got emotional before I even got to speak to them. I was sitting in the front row and I was able to see everything as they were talking about the valedictorian. They were talking about the awards that the various men have. And again, these are brothers, black and brown brothers in this particular school. So I was able to just see all of the work that they put into. And I haven't been at a graduation in quite some time. I'm not going to say my age, but I haven't been in a graduation in quite some time. So when I first got up there, I had to let them know, even before I got to my speech, that I was taken aback and I was so happy to see all the matriculation and for them to go across this threshold, because the media doesn't show that, which is one of the reasons why we have the Quintessential Gentlemen to show those particular success stories, because we don't have that enough in our TV, social media, and things like that. So that was emotional for me. So being in there, then giving my speech, and after giving my speech, I went and shook some of the young brothers' hands, and one of them said, I want to be just like you. And that almost took me out because, you're just talking to a man who grew up in Philly. I had, of course, I wanted to be great. I was told I was going to be great. But it's the actuality. It actually happened. And somebody is inspired by just a conversation that I had or the words that I was able to provide them with. And it was amazing. And then we also partnered with Google, and Google donated some products to kind of give them in their gift bags. And there's a clip that I have on social media, a video that we took of the gentleman getting their gifts and just the joy on their face when they see what they got. And it was like, wow, we put that together. Wow. We made them happy with this small token to further in, but it meant something to them. So it's overall just an amazing experience. And yeah, it was a lot, but I'm completely grateful and honored.
And I'm telling you, this is going to prepare you for what's to come. Now, eventually, Pinky from Slutty Vegan is throwing out LLCs. I can't remember the gentleman who paid everybody's debt, but I'm telling you, like Robert Smith, of course, is probably on the Quintessential Gentleman, guys. Go ahead to www.theqgentleman.com and check it out.
He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire. I know him. I pay close attention.
And I mean, soon enough, like this is just the beginning of something that is amazing. Like, how does that feel to know, all right, I did something that I consider big today, but it only grows and gets bigger from here?
I think that I'm starting to look that way. I don't think I always look like that. I think when you're in the hustle, when you're building, you're grinding, like this isn't easy. This is, planning an event out of state, then coming back, having to write a graduation speech, putting together gift bags, figuring out what you're going to do, how you're going to speak, what you're going to wear, putting together a whole magazine issue, a whole strategy that has to go out with that. All of those things take time. And while you're in it, you're not always able to appreciate where you've come from. But I will say today, in this moment, right now that I'm speaking to you, I'm so appreciative. And I realize the impact that myself, my team, and the brand is doing for young Black and brown men. And, I think at first it was very much, everyone talks about influencer, you influence things like that. But to me, it's outside of being an influencer. I want to be impactful. I want to be able to have conversations that open up new dialogue, possibly new legislation, new thought process on how we view different things that didn't work in the past, and trying to be more progressive. One of the young gentlemen read my bio. His name was Eric as well. And that's another one that almost took me out. I'm telling you, the tears almost was flowing.
I mean, now as far as the other Eric, like, why did it almost take you out? Is it because you've never heard yourself spoken about by somebody else?
Yeah, I've never heard. That's it. I've never heard myself. No one has ever introduced me before. It was a lot of firsts. So I never heard someone introduce me in such a way that it was like a full bio in person. And then also it was a young Black man who, came up to me in the beginning and was like, all right, it's Quinta. He said, Quintessential. He said, okay, got it. So for him to get it right, he looked at me, he said, Eric K. Thomas with the Quintessential Gentleman. He looked at me and said, so it was a moment. It was a moment, and it was great. So I think hearing myself, or even I kind of feel like this may be the first time that I'm viewed as maybe someone more than just how I view myself, and said, wow, somebody like that, you're not this person that you walk around that you walk around as, or this person that you think you are. Like, people actually do look up to you, and I think that today hit me really hard.
Now, 6 years ago, when the Quintessential Gentleman was launched, had you had any idea of where you wanted to go? Or did you just say, okay, I need to create something where people can see positive images of us, but you didn't have like a clear vision of where you wanted it to go? Like, what were you thinking 6 years ago?
So I wouldn't say my vision was clear. I think ultimately I just wanted to create a platform for Black and brown men to see themselves. That's it. I just wanted to do positive stories. I didn't even necessarily want to do a magazine in the beginning. We didn't start our first magazine wasn't until 2018, as you know. So it was really just a website where you can read stories and you can learn from these Black and brown men, these success stories. As we started to grow, I started to realize, I said, wait, now hold on. There are not any spaces like this for Black and brown men. Black women have these places, they have these
Mm-hmm.
workshops, they have conferences, they have these conversations, they have all of these things, and Black men don't have it. And then I started to hear from people saying, we need this. We appreciate you for doing these things. All of that. And that's when, I started to get into, this is going to hit. This is exactly what we need. This is what we need to focus on. This is what we need to do. And then my mind started to go. And then now, the sky's the limit. There's a whole empire. There's subsections. There's you know micro organizations that I want to form and conversations around partnerships that I want to have because we don't have that right now. So I know that the Quintessential Gentleman can and will be that vehicle.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. I had a call come through. So I'm playing back the conversation that you and I had in, I think it was the end of 2015, middle to end of 2015, something like that. And what I'm hearing is frustration. And then I'm hearing responsibility. So when you think of those two words, and where the Quintessential Gentleman started and where the Quintessential Gentleman is now, what do those words mean to you then? What did they mean to you then? And what do they mean to you now?
So I would say frustration. Frustration was more on not seeing these stories just be like again, I create around time where I would say it's changed, but it hasn't, unfortunately, where Black and brown men were being killed by police. And then the conversations, there was baby mama drama conversations, there were so many. Well, go ahead.
I'm thinking of something. The
Sure.
gentleman that represented Trayvon Martin's mother was who?
Mm-hmm. You're talking about Ben Crump.
I just realized, and you
Yeah.
may not have realized it, but that was a full circle moment this past weekend. Because if I'm not mistaken, it was the Trayvon Martin situation that was kind of like the final straw and led to the conversation between you and I that eventually led to the Quintessential Gentleman. It was somewhere a part of it. So what I'm
Yeah,
saying is,
it was. Yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. What were you about to say?
Yeah, it was around that. I think because Trayvon Martin was definitely like way before us starting in 2016. But then you had like it was Eric Holder and other people. So it was definitely a cumulation of all of those things that happened. But I did realize that on our event, and it was like me realizing how big of a deal Ben Crump was. And I didn't realize how big of a deal he was because now I'm like, wow, we had him speaking at our event. And this is someone who is historical. He is deemed historical at this place now. So, 20 years down the line where there's another movie made about him or there's other conversations and things like that, you see the images of people with Malcolm X or Martin Luther King Jr. and they speak about those particular times that they're with him. We now have that. We've created that space. We not only interviewed him, we had him at our event, but we were able to bring other people to hear him speak, and people will always be able to say, "Oh, I met Ben Crump at the Quintessential Gentleman's event back in 2022. So to a full circle moment for sure, but then also realizing who this person was and what part he plays in history and what he will play in history. So it was definitely mind blowing after the fact. I definitely didn't realize it until after it happened.
And it's crazy because I'm realizing that now, and I got back 5 days ago. I'm probably just now realizing that because I've been asleep ever since, I think.
I just realized I said Eric Holder. It's definitely Eric Garner.
Garner. But wasn't there
Eric Holder was definitely I think he's the attorney general.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
You're absolutely correct. It's okay. See, we can make mistakes. We can fix mistakes, and it's fine. But like, wow. I'm sorry. Now when you think of history, and we're talking about the place that Ben Crump holds in the history of civil rights and justice and all those other things, where would you like Eric K. Thomas to fall in history?
Loaded question. Very loaded question. I don't really think about that. I don't think about where I want myself to be, or this person, this big person. I don't operate like that. More than anyone that I don't really operate in this space to where I'm better than or higher than or anything like that. So it's hard for me to say where I feel like I should be. But what I would like people to say is Eric K. Thomas gave me an opportunity, or Eric K. Thomas was the first, I had my first interview with the Quintessential Gentleman, or, the Quintessential Gentleman supported us from the beginning, or, if we have to speak to Black men, you got to stop by the Quintessential Gentleman. So from a historic perspective, that is what I want the brand and myself to play from history perspective. But I do think in the future, there are some projects that I'm interested in and working on that I think could be some historic that would give me kind of that historic hit that would say, okay, he did this. This was great from a history perspective. But I don't know that I would say, I'm looking to be this person or looking like where my space is in history right now.
Okay. Well, sooner or later, it'll come. You just do the work, and the legacy creates itself. Now, when it comes to all of the people that you've had the opportunity to interview and impact, influence, connect with over these years, give me 3 people who you are just like in awe that you have built relationships with and or interviewed.
Again, going back to this weekend, it was a full circle moment. We actually spoke to CJ Faison, who was a producer on Giants and is a producer right now. I believe his film out right now is Black Beauty Effect, and it's with Comcast. And we spoke with him on the red carpet at the American Black Film Festival. But him and the Giants were our first official print magazine issue. So to see them, that was in 2018. So 4 years later, having that space and we have a great relationship. We chat all the time, checking on each other. I was actually mad that I was like, why am I just finding out about this project? He said, bro, it's I got you. I just had to get some things together, but I got you. So he's definitely been someone that built a relationship with. It's hard, I think, trying to say relationships with people. I think there are people who are super supportive of the brand that we've worked with. Tyler James Williams is another one who is super, super supportive of the brand. Yeah. You have interviewed him. Your interview with him went viral, where he talked about Abbott Elementary and Black women and Black teachers, Black men being teachers and representation and things like that. So he's super, super supportive of the brand. John Gibson over at Motion Pictures, he also is super supportive of the brand. He actually sponsored our event at the American Black Film Festival. But ever since we first met him back in, I think we spoke to him back in 2017, 2018.
wow.
He's been appreciative of the brand, and whatever you all need, whatever you need help with, he was always there. So there's definitely people who have put in the work to make sure that QG is highlighted and appreciated, and I'm appreciative of them for sure.
Yes. Now, there's one other, and I guess maybe I could have phrased it differently, and you probably would have said this person, but
Okay.
somebody that you were very excited to come in contact with, based off of what the Quintessential Gentleman had created. You were in a space. Let me see if you can, if you'll figure it out. You were
Sure.
in a space because the Quintessential Gentleman was invited based off of the work that was done. And it was this past weekend. And it was somebody who you may have never thought you'd meet, but you met them.
You're stressing me out. I have no idea, but you also know I have crazy 10 days.
Oh, no. She was there with her sugar mama.
She was there with her sugar mama.
She was proud.
Oh, Kyla Pratt. Oh my gosh. Here we go. I'm so sorry for saying that. Okay, do over, start over. Kyla Pratt. I met her at American Black Film Festival. I have been in love with her. Please, Kyla Pratt, don't block me. I'm not crazy. I respect your husband and your beautiful children. But it was so surreal to me because I remember being just a young boy, and I saw her on Dr. Dolittle, and you saw her on 101, and I was like, oh, she's beautiful to me. Like, just she was everything to me, and to meet her over this past weekend, and she looks amazing. I was trying not to be that guy because our industry, we've seen enough celebrities. We don't really get starstruck because it's the business. We got work to do and things like that. But her, and I was just trying to say, I just want to tell you you're beautiful. Thank you so much for this. And I hope you don't think I'm crazy. But, and I couldn't even speak after that. So I have a picture. And then it's also funny because someone took a video of me like me. I'm like trying to get up to the stage and trying to shake a little bit. I've been in love with her forever. So Kyla Pratt.
Wow.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. I gotta get back to that picture.
See, yeah, now I need to see that video because I didn't see that video. I stepped out of the room, so I didn't see that. I just came back to know that, like, boom, he had the opportunity to meet Kyla Pratt. Like, what's going on? So to know that you have created a platform, you have created a brand within yourself that is now a part of conversations, even when you're not in the room. You created something and are a part of something that is deserving when it comes to being in these different places and spaces and rooms and conversations. How does that make you feel?
Again, I'll say this past weekend really solidified our credibility in the industry, specifically TV and film. We do things out, other industries, fashion, style, business, entrepreneurship, and even, some nonprofit work and things like that. But in the TV film industry, we've been very, very intentional about working hard to get in a particular space because for me, I wanted to give Black and brown men in Hollywood some leverage. I wanted to give them their chops. I wanted to give them their flowers because we see before anything else, you watch TV. You watch either movies or you're watching television. It's such a full, such a big hold on our community that we wanted to be in that space. I wanted us to be in that space. So this past weekend was definitely. I can say, okay, we are here. And I think the response from people who have attended our event or met us officially. I will say this: in 2018, we went to American Black Film Festival for the first time, thanks to John Gibson at Motion Pictures. We were one of their motion picture sponsors, and we came out there. And I will never forget. We went there, and it was me and two other people, Dane, our publicist, and then Dash, our videographer, photographer. And he said, we were looking at our list. We were trying to find our name. And they were like, the Quintessential Gentleman, it's we don't see it here. And I had to call John and say, hey, they don't see it. He's like, oh, it's under motion pictures, all these different things like that. And it was like, okay, cool. Eventually found that everything was good. To fast forward 4 years later and a pandemic, we walk into the room and, it's three of us. And I say, hey, I'm with the Quintessential Gentleman. Quintessential Gentlemen, where have you guys been? We've been waiting for y'all. We get you here, your passes. We have this for you here. All right, let's go through your schedule. So we had you set up for this. We had you set up for that. We are so happy you're here. And to me, that was definitely an aha moment in terms of the work that we've done. The way that I'll always say, I will make it so that you cannot deny us, right? Because of the work that we do. So for us in that moment and just seeing what has changed the conversations around our name, people know who we are. We're walking down American Black Film Festival and they're like, the Quintessential Gentleman, people's not us not knowing who they are or not remembering them or anything like that. They know who we are, or they've seen our work, or they know our latest thing. So to me, that was definitely eye-opening to me about the work that the entire team and the platform and the brand has done to be in that particular space, because we are given opportunities. We're shedding stories. There's no negative. We are only talking about positive things, but then also moving forward to that, we're having conversations that are needed. These Black and brown men that come on our platform are sharing gems. They're dropping these gems. They're continuing to have these conversations, and then they're sharing it with, their fan base, their audience, and things like that. So I think I'm going to change it, and I don't remember exactly what your question was, but I'm going to try to round it back. But I definitely see where the brand has. I can see our name stance in the industry for consideration whenever we are, working on, projects, or when we're reaching out to people about, featuring them on our magazine. It's very interesting. A couple of years ago, specifically for the magazine, it was hard. Our publicist, Dane, he wouldn't even tell me the no's. He would just say, let's move to somebody else or something like that. I wouldn't know that the people are telling us no. He wouldn't share it with me. But it was very, very hard, but we are constantly looking for people, and we appreciate all the people who actually, did say yes to us, because we've had phenomenal people on our covers. But it was definitely hard trying to get talent to promote or to feature or to do photo shoots with or interviews with and things like that. But now we're at a place where we don't really reach out to people for interviews or for covers. We're getting pitched. They're reaching out to us asking, hey, we have a client. Hey, they're interested. Hey, could you have time to, they're trying to, we only have 4 covers for a year, all we can give you. So now they're kind of up to where we really are like booked out up until next year for our particular cover placement, which is a blessing and it's great, but it also adds to the work that we do, that we continue to do good work. We have quality, and we also have a respectful platform that really is interested in uplifting these Black and brown men.
So what do you feel is next for the Quintessential Gentleman, and ultimately, where do you see the brand of the Quintessential Gentleman going?
Sure. So we are definitely working on more community initiatives. We have an initiative that I can't speak about just yet, but in 2023, we'll be rolling out a new situation that will definitely tie us back to the community. We definitely want to focus on HBCUs and the Black and brown men that's in college. I've become very, very interested in the growth and progression of our young Black and brown men, or young boys. So we have a piece of that we'll definitely start working on. More events, definitely more in-person events. It's so funny. It's not really funny, but in 2020, we had kicked off our first event, which is our Mocktails Men of Color Telling Their Stories event. And we had Hill Harper there. We had oh my gosh, she's gonna kill me again because every time I say his name, I mess it up. And I see, and can't even think of his name right now. He's gonna come after me every single time. But we had him. We had him. That you guys don't know who that is.
Go to the
www.theqgentleman.com
and search mocktails,
and you guys will find it. And you'll see who it is. But we had a great panel discussion on Black fatherhood, and we had that actually in February, early February 2020, and we're ready. Oh, we were about to start doing in-person events, bam, 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 and then the pandemic happened. So actually, the event that we had at American Black Film Festival was the first event that we had post-pandemic, first in-person event. So we'll have definitely more of those, and then we're also going to start doing subscriptions and some subscription boxes that will include products in them and things like that. So I'm really trying to focus on our audience, really trying to get more of the community involved in the things that we're doing. I think it's been a little challenging to get some of the community initiatives that we want to do just because we've been in a pandemic, and kind of hearing about it and knowing about that has been slowed down just because of the modes of communication and things like that. But that's really what we're looking for the future.
Okay. And I know that when you're focused, you're focused. But is there anything that we can look forward to from you?
Dontrell Inman is the man that I was talking about. That was at the Mocktails event. I'm gonna put that in there. I had to because he would kill me. And I'm sorry again. Excuse me. For me, I'm actually getting very interested in this public speaking space. I think it is a upward progression for me. I think it aligns for me. As you know, I like to talk. Q will tell you anytime that we have a party, I'm ready to have the conversations with everybody about what you're doing, how you're thinking, and different things of that nature. So to have these, to be on panels or to speak in front of people, just to share whatever knowledge that I have that that may be of interest to them. I think that would probably be the next thing for me as I move forward in the development of my own personal brand. May that be outside of the Quintessential Gentleman, and having conversations, either influencing other people, talking about entrepreneurship, talking about the advancements of our young Black and brown men. But I think that's probably the space that I'll be leaning into.
Look, and we'll be right here supporting. This is not going to be your first time on BLK Talk. I just want to let you know that as a friend, I appreciate you, because to me, I'm thinking about it now, and you're like the Otis Williams of QG. You're like the founder, but you're keeping everything together, keeping everybody together, keeping everybody encouraged and motivated, and excited to be a part of this journey. So I appreciate you for that. What you have done for the culture, I appreciate you for that, and I want you to appreciate yourself for being that person.
That's a lot of pressure.
And I know that, Eric.
Because we speak about that. We speak to people who we feel are, for the culture, or the people who are doing things for the culture, and to be in that space, it's like, I feel like there's so much more I want to do, so many things that I can do, that I it's like putting that title on me, and I'm like, and I appreciate it. First of all, I appreciate it, but it's definitely a conversation that is like, am I ready to have the title?
But the thing is, though, whether you have the title, whether somebody is telling you about it or not, you don't have to do anything different than what you've already been doing. You've been doing you and doing what you felt was right, and putting images out there that you felt that people needed to see. And you've become this person. You've become this staple that people are looking for. So I mean, I understand the pressure, but I don't feel like you don't need to be just keep doing what it is that the good Lord put you on this earth to do.
Amen.
And just keep walking in them size 12, 13, in them big shoes and keep filling them footprints. And it, like I said earlier, the legacy writes itself.
I appreciate it. And I want to take this time and just salute you. Everybody doesn't know how hard you work behind the scenes and the various different things that you do. But one thing you are is there for people. And you support people. And that's why whenever you call, if you email, whenever you want me on here, I'm here because your support, not outside of working with the Quintessential Gentleman or, supporting me as a friend. I see how you are with everybody. You'll meet somebody tomorrow and then Cuba's go, oh, you got an event, I'll be there to support. So I love that. I love you being a socialite. I talk about how I love how you interview, how you speak to people, how you make them feel so comfortable. It's amazing. And I love the BLK talk. I love this progression of this talk because it is definitely morphed from other things that we won't discuss at this time. But I'm happy for you. And I just want you to keep going, keep working hard, and keep doing your thing, my brother. I appreciate you and I love you so much.
I love you too, and I appreciate that. And I'll be calling you after this. And to everybody out there, I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of BLK Talk. If you need to, go ahead right there at the bottom. You're going to follow Eric Thomas on Instagram at
Eric Thomas K.
And the Quintessential Gentleman at
The Q Gentleman.
And the website is www.theqgentleman.com. But look, make sure when you guys click onto the page, don't click close. Don't click that X that pops up. We're going to need you to go ahead and subscribe, okay? Go ahead and subscribe. You got a lot of good things coming. Make sure you guys stay tuned, stay supportive, and stay a part of the movement. And once again, Eric, I appreciate you.
Thank you, my brother. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.